What's up, everybody, and welcome back here at Big Obo Media for another review. Back this time, Terrell and I, we're going to be reviewing the series The Sandman, which is coming to Netflix August 5th. All 10 episodes, and this is not one you want to miss out on. I got to say a couple of things before we get into the review. I was very impressed by the Sandman panel at San Diego Comic-Con. I thought with all the different things that had premieres or world premieres for their trailers or just whatever it may have been, whoever presented at San Diego Comic-Con, I think my two favorite had to be the Sandman and Lord of the Rings, and that says a lot considering that we had Marvel, DC, and Game of Thrones. So we had a bunch of different things, but I thought the Sandman was like one of the most impressive, easily top 3. And then the other thing I want to say is that the Sandman, again, releasing on Netflix August 5th. Now, the Sandman, whether you the comments, whether you listen to the Audible, I feel like whatever bit of media that you're consuming, this title has all been good. And once again, here they go with another banger, now having the series coming to Netflix. So for whatever reason, man, they just cannot miss with this title. And that's a good thing considering that even though this is a DC property, DC has kind of been in this little swirling doomsday device right now. And this is not one you should fear. And with this being the first season, I think it's safe to say that season 2 will be on the way. Based on how this was left off, I think it's going to get good reception from the fans. I think Netflix are pretty much invested into this. So, you know, it's not on HBO Max, so nothing to worry about there, or HBO, Warner Discovery, whatever you want to call it. It's on Netflix, so I think there's a safe regard in terms of investing into the Sandman. So I had a good time with this one. A lot of things I want to go over. But Terrell, I just want to get your initial thoughts about this series.
Oh man, jumping, I was also at San Diego Comic-Con, and I saw that panel. I was going to say the same thing. Just from the few previews that we saw, I mean, they still left so much on the table that I didn't expect. And I avoided every bit of a trailer, every interview, everything before, because I wanted to go into this, not knowing what was going to be on the table. And Tom that plays Dream, as less as he says in the show, I feel like he says a lot, just in like his, I feel like he does a lot more emoting than he does acting in the show. And he does a really, really good job. The show, from what it visually is so freaking stunning, and I'm surprised, that this is like a movie quality budget for me on a Netflix show. And for the old lost faithful who was lost faith in Netflix, this is another reason to
reinvest
your subscription down for another show. Now, what I was saying to you earlier, I feel like, missed opportunity on this being a week to week, because the way it's set up through chapters, stuff like that, I feel like that would have been a good opportunity. But, at the same time, it also feels like it's set up for you to watch this all in one day. All the actors in the show are just, amazing. And, you know what I mean? Like they grabbed the right cast for this. And this is like what the 4th or 5th different medium that this has been adapted into. So this is amazing, man. I definitely couldn't put it down as soon as I started watching it.
Yeah, again, another shout out to Tom Sturridge, who is Dream. I mean, his voice acting work in this, and he's physically there. But I mean, if you just close your eyes and just listen to him, he has this very like menacing presence to every single line that he reads. And like, considering that somebody like Patton Oswalt is voice acting the Raven in this, who Patton is one of the best voice actors out there. It is super interesting, and should be well noted that Tom hangs with Patton easily in terms of just voice work. But obviously, because he's acting as well too, the character Dream is just any scene that he's in, he's easily the focus. And there's some other foes throughout this entire journey that I thought really come together alongside of Tom that really make these scenes work. So I definitely want to give a shout out to a couple of other cast members. Mason Alexander Park is one. Kirby Howell-Baptiste is another. And I'll leave some more to talk about in a second. So this is a phenomenal cast. I want to say visually, as you said, very, very visually, aesthetically pleasing. Whether it's the CG, some of the dream worlds that they create, some of the animation or CGI that they use and to create some of the animation around these characters. As I state, when you talk about the designs of these nightmares, you know, when you're in hell, when you're in some of these fantasy lands that they go on, like they really bring these fantasy dream worlds to life. And then the other thing easily happens to be the costume design. I think Desire and Lucifer are two really stands out in terms of the costume design for these characters. So, you know, it really doesn't do this. I don't feel like this series lacks anything. I think of all of the series that I watched this year, Sandman and Stranger Things, both on Netflix, has to be up in that top echelon. You know, The Boys was amazing, but I think the Sandman has to be talked amongst some of the best series that came out this year for anybody who loves superheroes or anything based on comics. You know, this is based on a DC comic, as I said. You know, you're getting your money's worth. And then I have to also give you all just a little bit of a, it's not a spoiler because it's out there, but in case you had not heard, the end credit sequences is done by Dave McKean. So after each and every episode, all 10 of them, you're getting this very sort of moving graphic design done by Dave. You know, Dave, you know, having him a part of this project is obviously the icing on the cake for everyone involved. But yeah, you have to watch the credits because when you get those visuals at the end, it just makes things all much better. And like Netflix like to bring you to the next episode, definitely cancel that and just watch the animation the entire time. It's really good. So, but who were some of your standouts in this?
Yeah, like you said, like Lucifer for sure, who's played by like you said, Brianna Tom, trying to think of her actress's name, Gwendoline Christie.
Yes.
Jenna Coleman, who I know from Doctor who played you know, the Impossible Girl on that show. I've known her through a lot of BBC shows. She does a really good job of Joanna Constantine.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of the backstory they give her, she plays that very well, man. Because I usually see her play like the real innocent girl a lot in her roles, but this time she's playing a completely different off-type role than she normally does. And of course, like I said, Dream himself, man. Like I say, even though he says so little, his performance on screen, you know, when he does interact with characters is so powerful. And like I said, his emoting in the show is like, man, you can tell this guy's you know, he about something in this.
Yeah.
And you were talking about you know, Patton Oswalt. Surprisingly enough, Patton Oswalt is like the only character in the show I feel like stands out so much because like he's kind of like, he's not, I mean, he's using his regular voice, but it almost comes like when he's talking, it comes off as comedic. Like they're trying to add levity to a scene.
Yeah.
You know, when there's like real serious moments, and here comes Patton Oswalt as, you know, his character.
But I will say, because with Dream being so serious, having that secondary consciousness for somebody who is definitely wise, but yet alone sees things from a different scope. He is a Raven, so you know, for whatever you want to call that metaphorical view that he has, I think that it does create the balance in terms of somebody who's so serious, but outside of somebody who's also just trying to contribute, but it comes off in a comedic way. But it does just mesh together very, very well.
Charles Dance, you know, he's in the show. He was what was his name, Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones. He does a really good performance for when we see him, and his character, you know, ultimately being a bad guy. You know what I mean? You know, he's the guy that, not a secret, but nothing if everybody read it. He's the guy that ultimately winds up capturing Dream through, you know, the botch ritual. But I feel like he served his purpose. He did a really good job on the show as well.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, the plot here, the King of Dreams, now that he's free after a century being gone, is looking to recapture his sand, and then return to his rightful place in his kingdom, and eliminating anyone who challenges him. So this is an adventure. This isn't a one season story arc. There's multiple adventures throughout this season. Because with this, he encounters some of his nightmares, and as I said, the design of the nightmares is done really well. But in terms of him reclaiming his powers and his abilities, and when I say the difference between powers and abilities is what he's able to do, but the power within the ability happens to send him on a venture of capturing back all of his nightmares who had ventured off and thought, because they thought he was gone, that they can just do whatever they want. So like you're going through different segments and different journeys, and he's going to counter different people. So like throughout 10 episodes, you're going to have like maybe 3 to 4 mini arcs that are all super interesting, that keeps you invested the entire time. Now, in terms of the toning, it's horror and it's mystery, and then there's some comedy, and I think with that, they make the best of all of these episodes. So yeah, things are a little bit dark, they're gory. I don't ever feel like things get too demonic for anybody who may be worried about that, but I do think it's a good mesh of just a really good adventure that exists in a dark space, not too much that you just, for whoever may be worried about being consumed by the things that are happening. Once you mention that the devil and Lucifers and stuff, some people may get deterred by that, but it's never that at all. And I think the design and the world building of everything is so cool, so aesthetically pleasing, that you just forget all of that other stuff that you may be worried about.
I was gonna say it's a really good mix of like fantasy and biblical at the same time.
Yeah,
because they take a lot of like stories we know, characters we know from the Bible, and like throw them in this and like kind of turn them a different way, mixing it with like some of this, some of the made up fantasy characters, which I think they do a really good job of in this show.
Yeah. So again, with the pacing, I feel like every 2 to 3 episodes, you're just constantly on edge for what his next obstacle or challenge is going to be. And I don't know if I haven't said it verbatim, but like the production of this is top tier. Like there's definitely some money spent. Maybe not Stranger Things money, but it's definitely an investment into Netflix getting this done. But season 1 was fantastic. I'm already ready for season 2. I will say, in terms of my favorite episodes, I loved episode 4. I loved it may be 4, 5, and 6. I can't remember. It's one of those episodes I was kind of whatever on, but I know for sure I like 4. Now maybe it was 6. I think it was. Because with the journey, we are getting some backstory as well too. So we're getting, story of the past, and then as we kind of accelerate up into present, and they really tied in all together. So like there was no filler episodes, should I state? But in terms of just the forward adventure, I definitely think in terms of that, episode 4 and episode 6 was really good. Then the finale is just obviously what the finale should be, leaving you with a lot of unanswered questions that should be answered going into season 2. But yeah, acting was good, character design, just the visuals, CG, just the storytelling, just everything that you will want in the series, that even if you have never heard of Sandman ever before, that you can just jump into this, is really well done and elaborated to a point that anybody can consume what's happening. And I think it's just a series that's you put in your list as to, you do not want to miss out on this one. I don't care what Terrell say. Put it all out at once. Let the fans get a hold of this, and then maybe next time they can decide if they want to split it up into 2 parts like Stranger Things, which people did get mad about that as well too. So you can't win for losing in these things, but like put it all out. It's 10 episodes. Episodes are ranging anywhere from 30 minutes to about an hour. They're all a little bit about different size. So, to set aside at maximum 10 hours a day and check this out. Troy, anything else you want to add to this?
I'm just amazed that like we're talking almost 30 years of this story, which has won a ton of awards. Like you said, gone through so many different mediums, a podcast, audio drama, now a show, a comic, so many different things. I feel like this has always been the story that has, been held to like this staple in terms of like comic books and storytelling. And it really is good. If you guys haven't read the comic, it's definitely worth the pickup. But it's just amazing how this has stayed around so long, and Neil has been able to steadily tweak it and find new ways to make this so much more interesting. And I think now when this show comes out, for sure, a lot more people are going to be running to those shelves to get the books, because they're going to want to know what happens, after this series ends. And like I said, they picked the right actors to play all the right roles in the show. It just came out at the right time. I'm surprised, that Netflix was the place that wound up picking it up out of all of the avenues that they could have gone. And they
luckily for us too, special for everything that's happening. You know what I mean? Imagine waking up today and hearing that the Sandman was canceled.
That's I could just imagine everybody just thinking of stuff like, man, we really dropped the bag on this one. We should have grabbed that while it was on the table. But no, man, this is nothing short of amazing. If I had to rank it so far, just out of the first season, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. The pacing is, like you said, is excellent. It never felt slow. I was already ready for the next episode. Like I said, the end credits title joint was amazing. Especially because we got a heads up on that at San Diego Comic-Con about how that was going to be done. But the show, man, I'm surprised. I'm shocked and surprised at how good it was, because I feel like they've been talking about this for years, and usually, when you get that much hype on something, you just know you're going to be disappointed. But I'm here to tell you that you will not be disappointed. This is definitely, you will be finishing this the same day. I don't care if you call out at work or whatever you gotta do, you will be finishing this the same day you start watching it.
That's right. Well, again, August 5th, you get an opportunity to check it out. 10 episodes, all ranging up to an hour each. The Sandman, as we both say, 10 out of 10 is a must watch. And once you do check it out, folks, you know what to do. Come back in the comments, let us know your thoughts, whether your favorite characters, your favorite episodes, just overall what you thought about the season. And predictions for season 2. And I think in this era of the streaming war, shall I say, be very vocal. Get on your Twitter, get on your Instagram, and let Netflix know how much you like this. Because if this gets canceled, I'm blaming you all. But until then, folks, we'll see you around, and stick around for more reviews very soon.
See it.
Keep